Can you give our audience an idea of why it was so difficult? Because this population management data problem, I mean, it sounds like a problem, but help frame up like how many records are you talking about? How is it being done? Was it like manually being done? I'd love to understand the problem a little bit more. That way, our audience can get like in that mindset of where you were at.
It's really a front end issue versus a back end issue. In the legacy world, you get referrals. And so you get your client and then you can serve your client. All of the administrative requirements that come with doing that as you serve to get to your true work, which is in service to the client. That's the world we were in, are in. In the new world, you want to be looking at in the population of 100,000 in a small city, 100,000 that need service. And so you really have to be able to go look at that 100,000 potential clients and figure out who needs the service. And so that was where Eleanor went to, right? That front end. This is what we need to do. And this is what California wants. I had the experience of in my for-profit world. I was in finance planning and analysis of a national Salesforce, and we had implemented Salesforce back then 30 years ago. Sorry to say how old I am. Of implementing Salesforce in the original for a sales team. And so I thought, well, this is the same thing, right? This is about looking at a large volume of potential clients and starting to qualify and all the things you need to do. Eleanor, and I'm speaking for Eleanor, in parallel, she had a Salesforce experience, and she also saw the CRM model really fit what we wanted to do, not only just identifying the clients, but also in case management and actual serving the client. So we both came to, we need a tool. We know we need something like a CRM. We both said we know Salesforce has such a strong social conscience in how they want to do their business. And so that's how we said, well, we need a tool. Let's reach out to Salesforce. And so that was actually the how did we get here? The how it then became a real partnership of Salesforce wanting to really be involved in supporting behavioral health population, Salesforce really wanting to be a part of a community that raises up the folks in the community, became such a nice partnership. I remember talking to Van Wu and saying, look, we actually can't tell that you're in a different organization. We feel like you're all part of the same organization. We wouldn't be able to separate a Salesforce employee from a Pacific Clinics employee. It was such a nice match, in terms of people and the passion and the commitment to do what we wanted to do.
Just some other, context and just the complexities around this. So for the last few decades, we've been doing business a certain way. And so Jason has referred them here as our legacy business. So that is contracting with the counties. In the state of California, they carve out services for what they call your moderate severe population. So those that need more than just, your 50-minute traditional mental health setting. They need a whole lot more. That has been our business for decades. And so we've built our infrastructure around that business. And so we're pretty efficient with running that business. However, with the transformation, we now are dealing with a very different payer source, multiple payer source. In fact, one of our strategic goals was to diversify our funding stream because we were so dependent on the counties. And so by doing so, we knew that we needed to be able to deal with the complexities of all these different funders. So you do have that one layer of, regulations and needing that flexibility in the system to be able to do that. A lot of the EHRs today, as is, that support our business line are really tailored around what Jason calls our legacy system. So again, we needed that flexibility. Jason also talked about that population health. So the doors were pretty controlled. We knew we would have certain referrals. That was not an aspect of business that we needed to be concerned about. In this new phase or in this new world, we needed to be concerned about that. So, marketing, that was another process that we weren't familiar with. And then learning about Social Studio and Pardot, those are all things that were new to us. Again, different regs, you bring that down to then different payer requirements, different data that needed to be collected, how we collect that data and how that data then moves between programs. At the end of the day, though, the need to be able to bill the payer to get reimbursed for services was also a need, and they all have different requirements and processes around that. And then we also wanted to do program evaluation to measure the effectiveness of our program. So there are a lot of different things that we needed to do, and we had a single tool to be able to do all that, and that single tool was not sufficient for us. and is not sufficient for us. But let me kind of give you an example of if we didn't have Salesforce, what this would mean for us. We now have a program, it's called Enhanced Care Management, where the health plan gives us thousands of names every month, and they may or may not be the same names. And so in the past, what would happen is they would give us the names in an Excel spreadsheet, or at least we would get it, into an Excel spreadsheet. And then you would have to sort through the Excel spreadsheet to see if they're already in our system, because they wouldn't flag if they're new. So we would have to then go open up our EHR to see if they're there. And if they're not there, then have our team reach out to them, and if they're there, then don't reach out to them because they're our clients. So every month we had to go through that process, and that took 80 hours. That means half the month gone with just sorting Excel spreadsheets.
That's bananas. Okay, was there at least like a keystone match, for example, like social security number, or was it like free text entry? Like I enter my name Ben Wu, but then I entered it Benjamin Wu another time, and like now all of a sudden it doesn't match. You have to like cross validate.
Well, our EHR doesn't have an API, so you can't even do that. Yep.
Oh, dang. This is important. I want people to know the technical challenge in front of us, because one of the big challenges I know from working with city, state, municipalities, they're all on like kind of different systems, and they've certainly patched it at different places. All the data payloads are kind of different. And if you're telling me all this data is coming in differently in different payloads, so that means you can't do, like you just said, there's no cross-reference matching. You can't even run Excel VLOOKUP because it's just data's entered in differently. So you have to do data transformation and just do lookup. Then you also mentioned payer, or like coding and payments. And then if all those systems are different, you can almost guarantee all their payment systems are different, which means all of their billing requirements are different. So if I'm billing county 1, it's going to be one way, billing county 2, it's another way. And if you don't have a system for any of that, it's just straight manpower. And for a nonprofit, that's expensive.
Absolutely. Yep. I mean, we do double entry. I mean, if you want to talk about needing to cut your G&A, fancy, huh, Jason? I got it. You need to cut your G&A, but you need to also get paid. So, other short of hiring people, technology is a solution.
Yeah, and I would say it's not just the nature of a nonprofit does not allow you to invest in your infrastructure, right? The nature of nonprofits is its mission, right? And there's so much passion and so much energy with limited resources, that technology doesn't get the right amount of time and effort to support the mission. So we recognize that we have to leverage technology in the entire agency to be able to increase our reach in our service. And I've told our leadership team this, we can guarantee with putting technology, enabling technology into this very large behavioral health agency, that we can free up hours of our clinicians' time so that they don't have to be doing double entry, they don't have to be writing notes, they don't have to be dealing with taking all of their time to do the administrative work, but free that up, and then you have the time to go see your client and your customer. We understand that that's what technology in a nonprofit will do for us. We have to be able to do it right. You have to have the big strategic plan. You have to have the right partners like Salesforce, the right tools, to go do this. So I would say to you, Eleanor, in business development was a key aspect to say, look, we can start doing it here. We can start modeling it. We can start an incubator here. But at the end of the day, right, the success models of putting it in play then allows us to basically then put it into the whole agency. And so that's where we are, right? We're not just looking to put it into 1 or 2 new programs. We're really looking to enable technology into the whole agency to support the mission.
IT Visionaries is brought to us by Salesforce Platform and Dreamforce 2022. Catch the news and insights coming out of Dreamforce this year for free on Salesforce Plus. Just visit salesforce.com/plus. Content will start rolling today, September 20th.